Hello guys, welcome back to another great episode. This is the 40th episode of a journey I started for building a logistics business from scratch. Thanks for your continuous support and your encouragement. It really means a lot to me. My goal is to build a logistics business which will be a teaching process of how to build any business from scratch. My focus is to show you the challenges and the money management skill that I will have along the way. Some will be terrible, but others will be equally worthwhile. I hope you enjoy the journey along with me and learn a lot of stuff. Today, I will be transporting garlic to Bremen, and along the way, I will be talking about budgeting. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Have fun! In general, traditional budgeting starts with tracking expenses, eliminating debt, and once the budget is balanced, building an emergency fund. But to speed up the process, you could start by building a partial emergency fund. This emergency fund acts as a buffer as the rest of the budget is put in place, and should replace the use of credit cards for emergency situations. The key is to build the fund at regular intervals, consistently devoting a certain percentage of each paycheck toward it, and if possible, putting in whatever you can spare on top. This will get you to think about your spending too. What's an emergency? You should only use the emergency money for true emergencies, like when you drive to work but your muffler stays at home, your water heater dies, or a leak springs in your roof. You would save money if you used your emergency fund to eliminate credit card debt, but the purpose of the fund is to prevent you from having to use your credit card for paying for unexpected expenses. With a proper emergency fund, you will not need your credit card to keep you afloat when something goes wrong. Downsize and substitute. Now that you have a buffer between you and high-interest debt, it is time to start the process of downsizing. The more space you can create between your expenses and your income, the more income you will have to pay down debt and invest. This can be a process of substitution as much as elimination. For example, if you have a monthly gym membership, cancel it. Use half of the money you save to invest or pay off outstanding debts, and save the other half to begin building a home gym in your basement. Instead of buying coffee from a fancy coffee shop every day, invest in a coffee maker with a grinder, and make your own, saving more money over the long term. Although eliminating expenses entirely is the fastest way to a solid budget, substitution tends to have more lasting effects. People often cut too deep and end up making a budget that they can't keep because it feels like they are giving up everything. Substitution, in contrast, keeps the basics while cutting down the costs. Find new sources of income. Why isn't this the first step? If you simply increase your income without a budget to handle the extra cash properly, the gains tend to slip through the cracks and vanish. Once you have your budget in place and have more money coming in than going out, along with the buffer of an emergency fund, you can start investing to create more income. It is better to have no debt before you begin investing. If you are young, however, the rewards of investing in higher risk, high return vehicles like stocks can outweigh most low interest debt over time. Sticking to a budget. Now you understand the finer points of budgeting. You've accomplished all of the above, even put together a nice spreadsheet that lays out your budget for the next 15 years. The only problem is that sticking to that budget isn't as easy you thought. That credit card still calls your name, and your clothes category seems awfully small, and you feel deprived. Budgets, you decide, are no fun. The good news is you don't have to throw it all out the window just because you've messed up once or twice. Remember the big picture. The point of the budget is to keep you out of overwhelming debt, and help you build a financial future that will give you more freedom, not less. So think about how you want your future to be, and remember that keeping to your budget will help you get there. Adding to your debt load, on the other hand, will mean that your future could be even tighter. Remove the options that allow you to cheat on your budget. Make it more difficult on yourself to make impulse purchases. In other words, set up barriers so you have time to stop and think, is this purchase necessary? Take yourself off retailer email lists. Remove your stored payment information on your favorite online shops, so you can't just click to order. Find some support. If you feel like you're the only one in your group who is on a budget, search and find some like-minded folks. It could be an online forum, a monthly meeting, or even just a couple of friends traveling the same budgetary road. You need to know you're not the only person setting sane financial limits for yourself. You can also have accountability with your frugal buddies, talking things over and each other out of temptation. Go old school. There's something powerful about handing over a stack of $20 bills for purchase. It causes you to really think about the amount of money you're about to spend. Swiping a debit card, on the other hand, may not feel nearly as real. Similarly, paying bills by writing checks and promptly entering the sums into your register keeps you up to date on how your account is affected in a way that autopay doesn't. You don't have to use cash exclusively or completely forego online payments, but handling transactions in old-fashioned ways can make you realize how much you're spending and enhance the power of self-regulation. Reward yourself. If you are constantly looking at what you have to cut and give up, the very act of budgeting will become distasteful. A mixture of long and short-term gifts to yourself will help keep you motivated. When you've been faithful to your budget for a month, give yourself a reward. Even small ones can help, such as a night out with friends, a concert, or a little extra cash for spending. Keep visual reminders of these rewards or the things you're saving up for. Start building associations in your brain that sticking to your budget has a pleasurable result. Schedule a periodic budget evaluation. It's difficult to predict how much money you'll need in every category of life. A new job may necessitate a wardrobe change, and your clothing budget may not cut it. That's why it's important to have a regular check on how you've created your budget. If it isn't working, tweak it. It is your budget, after all. Just make sure you keep your long-term financial goals in the picture. Educate yourself. Instead of taking the more common road of instant gratification, which leads so easily to overspending and endless debt, learn all you can about finances, money management, and how you can best invest in yourself. Talk to your financially savvy friends and get real-world tips and advice from people who are doing well with their money. The more you learn about handling money wisely and its rewards, the more concrete the reasons for budgeting will be, and the better you will be at not only creating a budget that works for you, but also sticking to it. Ways to budget when you're broke. Budgeting strategies sound fine, but if you're in dire straits financially or suffering from mounting bills and a lack of funds, there are some other possible steps to take. 1. Avoid immediate disaster. Don't be afraid to request bill extensions or payment plans from creditors. Skipping or delaying payments only worsens your debt, and besides, late fees ding your credit score. 2. Prioritize bills. Go over all your bills to see what must be paid first, and then set up a payment schedule based on your paydays. You will want to leave yourself some catch-up time if some of your bills are already late. If this is the case, call the bill companies to see how much you can pay now to get back on track toward positive status. Tell them you are taking strict measures to catch up. Be honest about the amount you can afford to pay. Don't just promise to pay the full amount later. 3. Ignore the 10% savings rule. Stashing 10% of your income into your savings account is daunting when you're living paycheck to paycheck. It doesn't make sense to have $100 in a savings plan if you are fending off debt collectors. Your piggy bank will have to starve until you can find financial stability. 4. Review spending. To fix your finances, you need to get a handle on your outlay first. Online banking and online budgeting software can help you categorize spending, so you can make adjustments. Many people find that just by looking at aggregate figures for discretionary expenses, they are spurred to change their patterns and reduce excessive spending. 5. Eliminate unnecessary expenses. Once you've got a sense of where the money goes, it's time to tighten up. All cutbacks should start with items you wouldn't miss or habits you should change anyway, like reducing your fresh food purchases if you find ingredients spoiling before you can eat them. Or preparing meals at home more instead of going to restaurants or getting takeout. Some expenses you shouldn't drop, but might be able to adjust could include reducing your auto insurance rate by switching carriers. 6. Negotiate credit card interest rates. There are other proactive ways to reduce expenses. Those killer interest rates on your credit cards aren't fixed in stone. For example, call the card company and ask for a reduction in the annual percentage rates (APR). If you have a good record, your request might be approved. This won't lower your outstanding balance, but it will keep it from mushrooming as fast. 7. Keep a budget journal. Once you've gone through these steps, monitor your progress for a few months. You can do this by writing everything you spend in a notebook, via budgeting apps on your phone, or with that software you used in Step 4 to review your spending. How you track your money isn't as important as how much you are tracking. Focus on ensuring that every cent is accounted for by dividing your expenses into categories. Fine-tune and adjust the spending as needed after each month. 8. Seek new income. For the time being, saving and investing money is out. But consider ways to increase earnings, working overtime, getting a second job, or picking up some freelance work. A budget isn't a prison cell to keep you away from your money. Rather, it's a tool you use to make sure your future is better and yes, richer than your present. We have finally arrived at our destination. I hope you've learned something along the way. It was an amazing journey. My client has paid me €5,328 for a job well done. Thanks a lot for watching until the end. Until next time, bye.